On behalf of the bishop, I want to welcome you all here tonight and thank you for taking the opportunity to learn about this new resource that the diocese is able to make available to the parishes. We just recently signed up for the diocesan subscription, which means the parishes have access at no cost to them. And Welsh is with us. He's the executive director of Invite, Welcome, Connect, and he's going to walk us through the resources that are going to be available to you and have an opportunity for questions as they come up. With that, I'll turn it over to Steve to open us in prayer, and we'll walk through the session.
Thank you so much, Ken and Neil. And I'm going to go ahead and start sharing here. We'll go to the prayer. This prayer, by the way, is from the book, Invite, Welcome, Connect, Stories and Tools to Transform Your Church by our founder, Mary Foster Palmer. The book has a lot of prayers, has a lot of stories about people implementing Invite, Welcome, Connect. So if you'd pray with me, please. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Dear gracious Lord, we pray this day with holy intention to live into our baptismal covenant, to become reflections of Christ in everything we do. We ask you, Lord, for the grace to see others as Jesus sees them, with love and compassion and forgiveness. Give us the courage to implement Invite, Welcome, Connect in our congregation and open our hearts and minds to holy listening and loving souls, so we may take the challenge of creativity seriously and serve you faithfully. Amen. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. I'll give you just a little bit of rules of the road as we go forward. We don't have just we have a reasonable sized crowd here, so I don't want to keep things too formal. And I would ask you flipping ahead too much. You can interrupt with questions as we go through. The aim here tonight is we're going to give a quick overview of kind of the theology and the philosophy behind Invite, Welcome, Connect, which is a ministry of evangelism, hospitality, and belonging. Then we're going to look a little bit at the resource that your diocese is now providing, Invite, Welcome, Connect on demand, and walk you through how to set up your own account and also how to use some of the basic materials. That's a lot to cover in just an hour. So we'll obviously be doing a very high level look and a high level glance through. Everyone who registered for this session will receive a recording of it, as well as a email with a few resources to help you get started. But as I say, as we go through, please feel free to interrupt at any point with questions. And some of them I might say we're going to answer that later, but we'll go through and let's keep it a friendly and casual kind of group. Okay. So first, quickly, an overview of what exactly is Invite, Welcome, Connect. It's clear we're insistent on the point that it is not a program. It's not a set of things that you do or say, but it is a framework, and it's a framework around which your group, your congregations will cultivate a mission of evangelism, of hospitality, and of belonging. So to say, it's not turnkey. What the way you do it at your congregation is going to look different than the way it's done the next town over, the next state over. It's really intended to be something that you use, excuse me, to live into the culture of your own church. So it's not a checkbox thing. You're going to make it your own. And that's what makes it important. It helps your church to discover your own unique gifts and your own unique calling for how you will live into evangelism, hospitality, and belonging. And we get categorized a lot of times as a church growth program. We kind of reject that label. This is about changing the hearts of your congregation and your congregational leadership Church growth happens to be a side effect of that if you embrace these principles and use some of the techniques that we do. But this is more about changing you than it is about a numbers game of bringing in more people. Okay. Uh, Quickly, some of the early origins of Invite, Welcome, Connect. It was founded by Mary Foster Palmer around 2010, and Mary is still a leader in the ministry. She serves as a consultant, and she is still presenting live workshops around the country. It grew up originally out of the Diocese of Texas. It was resident for a little while at the Southwestern Theological Seminary, and it was also at the School of Theology at Sewanee. It began with just live workshops, but with live workshops that were presented at churches and dioceses and seminaries and conferences all around the country and in Europe as well. A few years ago, we added coaching services to help, a trained person who can walk your congregation through implementing and developing and maintaining an Invite, Welcome, Connect ministry. In 2024, we became an independent 501c3 charitable organization, which is when they hired me to be the organization's first executive director. And then on January 1st of last year is when we launched Invite, Welcome, Connect on Demand, which is a set of online teaching resources for available for subscription, both to dioceses and to individual churches. The picture there you'll see is our founder, Mary Foster Palmer, with Bishop Curry, who wrote the foreword to her book, Invite, Welcome, Connect. So everything that is Invite, Welcome, Connect revolves around our four core values. They are prayer and vision. We started off tonight with prayer. Prayer is central to everything we do at Invite, Welcome, Connect, and we hope that it will be central to everything you do in Invite, Welcome, Connect. It's a way of grounding what we do in God's imagination and developing our shared purpose that way. Maybe as important as prayer, not quite as important as prayer, but really important is the idea of intentionality. You're going to find the stuff we talk about, there's nothing radically different from ideas that have come out of your church, things that you've done in the past, things that happen kind of organically in your church. The difference that we stress is to just be really intentional about it, to be thinking about these concepts all the time, and then to do things in the areas of evangelism, of hospitality, and belonging with intent, with purpose. And you'll see greater success. You'll see a greater change in yourselves and in your congregations if you keep that intention in mind at all times. Invite, Welcome, Connect is relational. It's really about the people we meet, the people we encounter, both in church and out in the greater world. And it does stress stories over metrics. Metrics are part of this. You want to measure what you're doing, but that interrelational thing is really the core here. Now, it does also include accountability, which is where the metrics come in. But we ask you to experiment with different things that you try, figure out whether they're working for you or not, or whether they have resonance with you or not. Learn from that, adapt, change new things, stop doing things that aren't working, and grab onto new things that come forward. Okay. I know we're not good at stopping doing things, right? When we start doing a thing, that's what we do in our church until everybody who remembers when it started died, and sometimes after that. This is different. We encourage it, try it, and if it works, great, grow it, change it, and if it doesn't work, stop doing it and do something else. Put your effort somewhere else. And so we're going to look very quickly at what we call the three essentials of Invite, Welcome, Connect, and that is just simply that: invite and welcome and connect. And we'll look at what we mean by those three things. Invite is not about marketing. It's not about it's about creating a space for encounter. So it's being in the community, and it is the personal invitation, which still is the most important way that people come to a new church. It stresses personal stories and relational invitations. And those relational invitations, being open and talking to people that you know and saying, we'd love to have you here, is the most important aspect of invite. There's lots of other aspects too, but and this is all based on Romans 15 verse 7, where we're told to welcome one another, therefore, just as Christ has welcomed you for the glory of God. In welcome, this is the ministry of hospitality. And hospitality is about truly seeing and honoring the other, the stranger, the person who comes in. There are a lot of practical pieces to welcome. Everything from the signage at your congregation, even making it clear for a first-time visitor where they park and what the entrance is to the church. You don't know how many churches I've been to where you pull in and you can't tell where you're supposed to park. And once you're parked, you don't know which of the many doors there are that you're supposed to walk in. Um, these are ways we tell people that they're not welcome because we make them figure it out for themselves. Um, Following up with first-time visitors to let them know that we were glad that they came here. Um, and there's a lot on this, but that's kind of the core there. And this is based on Hebrews 13:2. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it. Okay. And then the third essential is connect. And this is the ministry of belonging. And it's where we move people from being a guest to becoming a participant to becoming a co-creator of the church experience. Really bring them into the life of the church so that they can be changed, but they also change us. But their gifts and their talents and their presence become part of our community and change the way we do things, change how we welcome the stranger going forward. And we do this by not by kind of, well, I call it the sort of shark approach to new visitors, right? We see a new person come in the door, and they fit a category of some kind. They're a young parent, and say, "Ooh, they'd be great for children's ministry, or they'd be great for Sunday school." Um, it's really about it. That's a way of looking at the newcomer as a way for them to serve us. And that's not what this is about. This is about how can we serve this newcomer coming in? And part of that is helping them discover for themselves what their gifts are and where they're drawn and where they can contribute and what's going to make them most fulfilled in serving the church and serving God. And so that may be, small groups. It may be you're bringing them into a small group. It may be finding service roles for them, but also giving them a mentor in the new church to help guide them through what happens here and help them discover how they might fit in and how they might bring their gifts to your community. Connection deepens belonging and it sustains growth because once you're connected with the church community, you stay with that church community. And so that's where the growth happens. You've invited people in. When they got there, they felt welcomed. They felt like you cared that they were there. And then you help them discover their gifts and where they fit into the life of your community. And that's what makes them stay. And that's what contributes to a healthy congregation. And that was a a quick look at those. We have several hours on each of those essentials and lots of other things on the website, but a couple of kind of practical applications in those areas. For invite, as we've talked about, personal invitations, talking to someone that you know in your life outside the church who knows you go to church and maybe asks you about church, to having the courage to say, we're doing this thing next week. And maybe it's, blessing of the animals, or it's bring a friend to church week, or it's, the pot roast supper, inviting someone and asking them to come, and then taking care of them once they get there. But they're, meetup groups, it's being part of the community around the church so that people know that you exist and that you contribute to your overall community. It's using social media and social media clips. And I know that's daunting for a lot of churches, excuse me. We tend to have, a lot of older people running the day to day in the church, and they don't always get the social media, but there are a lot of tools now that make that way easier. The ability to do, a 30-second, 60-second, 90-second little video clip of the sermon along a particular theme that brings people in. And I know your new neighbor, Caroline Carson, she's great at this kind of stuff. So, and I'm sure she'll help you, right, Caroline? I'm throwing you under the bus right now.
I welcome it. I will help anyone.
Welcome. There's some practical aspects of welcome are the signage around your church, where if you have a faded, scratched, dirty, junky sign out front of your church, you're telling people you don't really care if they come in, right? If there isn't signage that tells people where to park and where to come in, and where the bathrooms are when they get inside, these are all aspects of hospitality. A plan your visit page on the website that tells them those kind of things to expect. Even some folks will do a virtual tour of the worship space, where you got the 3D scrolly kind of thing, and people come in. It's kind of cool. People do that. But then greeter training. The greeter is a ministry. And we've recently added on our website greeter ministry guides to help train greeters. Some churches, and these are usually kind of the larger ones, they may have greeters, like several different kinds of greeters. There's greeters out in the parking lot, helping people park and pointing them to the building. There's a greeter at the front door. There's a greeter at coffee hour. There's a greeter inside the church looking for people who are fumbling with the books, and don't know what to do, and help them with that. Or it's one person kind of covering all of that. And so our greeter ministry guide helps you be more intentional about that ministry. So I recommend that to you. Really, 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 really important is that everybody who walks in your door not only gets greeted, someone says hello to them, finds out if they have questions, tries to get their information so that someone will also follow up with them. That everybody who comes into your church gets a message of some kind after they leave, a text message or a phone call or a card in the mail, something that says, "We were so happy to see you, and we would love to see you again. If you have any questions, let us know." This is not, "Hey, shake your hands. Oh, you want to join the men's group?" That's not a question for the first time they walk in. This is, "Welcome. What can we do for you? How can we answer your questions?" And then connect, which we've talked a little bit about. Again, the ministry of belonging, things that help with connect are small groups, mentoring a new member of the church, somebody coming in, some clear service pathways that people can follow if they're interested in being more involved in the church. Skill sharing, where we talk to people and find out what it is that they do, and also what they like to do. Our tendency sometimes is, an accountant comes in the door and we try to make them treasurer. Maybe they're sick of doing accounting. It's their day-to-day job. They come to church, they'd like to do something else. And maybe they love kids and they'd want to be part of the youth ministry. You only find out about that if you listen to them and hear their stories and help them choose where they want to use their gifts and become connected to your congregation. Going a little forward. So you've decided to start an Invite, Welcome, Connect ministry, right? How do you get started? And we have a lot of resources on our website for helping you get started, including one under that's just the Getting Started page. But it's really important, as I said, it's because this is not a turnkey program where you can just do a checklist of things to implement it. This is a fundamental change in the heart of the congregation. To do this, you really have to have buy-in from all the key leaders. This can be a lay-led ministry, but it absolutely requires buy-in from clergy. If the clergy don't want to do it, it won't get done. They don't have to do the work themselves, but they have to be part of it, and they have to approve it. We recommend that you read the book from Mary Palmer, the Invite, Welcome, Connect book. We have on our website a group study guide that covers most of the book in 7 weeks, in 7 segments, and it's a set of a text guide and then videos that go with each segment. It's perfect for a Lenten book study, and we're coming right up. It's scary how soon Lent is. Right? We just got done with Christmas, and here comes Lent. But as a Lenten devotion, as a book study, and getting into to Invite, Welcome, Connect, it's a great way to introduce your congregation to the ministry and figure out if it's something that will work for you or that you have some energy around. We have a video on the site called "Are You Ready for the Training?" that talks about some of the steps to take to get ready to start learning about Invite, Welcome, Connect and implementing a ministry. On the Getting Started page on our website, there's some assessment tools for looking at how you're now doing Invite and Welcome and Connect. And we've just now added a shorter version that's fully digital so that you can actually take a survey, give a link to your congregants that asks them what their view is of how you're doing these different activities around Invite, Welcome, Connect. And then that will actually churn out, give you charts and figures that show what the perception is among your congregation right now. But there's lots of checklists and ideas and resources and a digital welcome checklist. Lots of stuff to look at to kind of assess where you are now. And I should say, like I said, this is a lot, and it's a big ministry. And one of the ways that people get off on the wrong foot in trying it is that they want to do everything at once. And that may not be practical. There's so very much to do here. It's a process of discernment to figure out what are some areas that we really need to focus on now. Maybe you're doing Invite great right now, and Welcome, you're okay, but you're falling down on Connect. And maybe you want to focus on Connect first, or one of the other things. The idea here is to not set yourself up for failure by trying to do too much too fast. Get into the ministry, figure out where you can start having big effects right away, and then grow from there. You don't have to do everything right off the bat. Great if you can, especially if you have a large team of excited people, and maybe you want to have an Invite team and a Welcome team and a Connect team, but not everybody's going to be able to do that. And this is really geared to be flexible enough for your own context so that you can do it the way you can do it. I've thrown a lot around, right? I just want to pause here. Have I blown past anything too fast? Any questions? Keep going.
Steve, in the chat, someone asked, is the account one per parish or one per person?
It's one per person. So it is absolutely unlimited. Every single person in your diocese can access every piece of information as many times as they want for a year. And we'll talk a little bit about how do you set up your account and how to access it. And when I send you the follow-up email, it'll be even easier. Because first time adding it to your account is more complicated than I would like it to be. But you'll see when I show the video on how to do that. That said, though everybody can have their own account and can watch all the materials individually, we do recommend that if you have a team going through a team starting an Invite Welcome Connect ministry, it's nice to go through the videos together because there are group questions, and there's also really important idea generation exercises where you really look at your ministry and and brainstorm ideas for things that would work in your context. And that's an exciting kind of energy developing kind of process. So it's good to do that in groups. It's not required to do it in groups, but it's good. And then as new members of the team come on, they can get up to speed by watching the materials you've already watched, and you can go back on your own and watch materials to kind of refresh and keep things going. So it's not like that was one of the things when I first took an Invite Welcome Connect seminar about 9 years ago. Mary Foster Palmer came here to the Diocese of New Jersey, where I live, and I attended a diocesan event, and I walked out the door really excited, that this was a great set of tools and a great mindset for revitalizing the church. But I walked out the door thinking, gosh, I wish Josh had been here, and I wish Ida had been here. And because this on-demand tool, and I actually wrote the next day to Mary and said, we need to create online education system around this. And it took us 8 years or so to actually do it. But the joy of that is everybody in your congregation who wants to be part of this can be part of this on their own schedule. Again, better if you do it as a group, but not bad if people come along on their own pace. And we're gonna, in a few minutes, we will actually look at the materials on the website. I've got a couple of videos to show you first, because it's easier to show some of that quickly in video form, but then we'll actually dig into the online materials and play with them a little bit. But other ways that we have to help y'all, the on-demand training, which we've talking about, and we're going to look at it again. We are still doing weekend workshops, those in-person things, and those are great for building a lot of energy, particularly at a diocesan level, around Invite Welcome Connect. I mentioned briefly the online coaching. We have coaches available. This is not included in the subscription, but we give you a discount for being a subscriber. But there are coaches who will meet with Invite Welcome Connect teams, whether on the parish level or on the diocesan level, every 2 months for a year. And that's a way of answering questions and holding people accountable. A lot of people, the work doesn't happen until you're about to go to the meeting, right? So having the meeting is sometimes helpful there. And then on invitewelcomeconnect.com, beyond the on-demand materials itself, there are so many resources on the website to help you with this with this ministry. Going from there, I'm going to show you very quickly this video, just kind of give a quick overview of Invite Welcome Connect on demand. I think at the end it talks about subscribing. So if it gets there, I will stop it because you're already subscribing. But let's watch this real briefly. Introducing Invite Welcome Connect On Demand, your comprehensive resource for transforming church communities through evangelism, hospitality, and belonging. Developed over 14 years by founder Mary Foster Palmer, this digital offering provides access to a full slate of transformative workshops and training materials, allowing church teams to engage with the ministry's teachings at their own pace. Mary Foster Palmer is the creator and founder of Invite Welcome Connect and the past director of the Gathering of Leaders, Mary is also the author of the award-winning book, Invite, Welcome, Connect: Stories and Tools to Transform Your Church. Our on-demand videos feature a team of clergy and lay leaders, all trained by Mary Foster Palmer, ensuring consistent and impactful teachings, supplemented by text, resources, quick quizzes, and a state-of-the-art online idea collaboration tool, allowing participants to share ideas among their own team and other teams across the country. With Invite, Welcome, Connect on Demand, congregations of every size, location, and resource level can access engaging scripture-based training whenever they need. And as I say, so we're going to talk a little bit about how to activate your individual subscriptions. And as I said, your diocese has subscribed for unlimited access, so you don't have to pay anything for any of this. It's all available in a couple of different ways, and we'll talk about that. You need either the custom access code or a custom link to activate your subscription. Now, I shared I shared both of these with Canon Neil, but all of you who registered for this event, I will email you in the next day or two with this recording, as well as both the custom link that just bypasses the need for the code, but also the code in case you come across a page that has this kind of guest area thing on it, and you'll just put the code in there. Fortunately, you come in at right at the point we're about to change the code. So until February 1, it'll be the one IWC 2025_M2819. That's for Matthew 2819. Look it up if you'd like. And then after February 1, we change the date to 2026, and it becomes Matthew 25:3. You need that code once. That is, because once you use that code, or you use the link that I send you, which bypasses the code, your subscription is good for 1 year without having to enter that code again. Okay. Unfortunately, getting started again, it has more steps than I would like it to. We're trying to streamline it, but if you have any trouble at all, you can reach out to me. You all already have my email address because it was from my email address that you got the Zoom confirmation. But again, I will email each of you individually with this information, so you'll have me and you can reach out and grab me. We also on the website have an ask a question bot on the thing. So if you're having trouble, you can click and ask a question, including if you tell our online chat that you're in the Diocese of Albany and ask what the code is. If it's like you lose the code or something like that, it will tell you. We protect access to it, but we don't protect it that well. So again, the custom link will be emailed again with a couple of days of this webinar after I edit the video and get it out to you. I'm going to show you this other little video that goes through the steps of setting up your individual account. Again, it's more steps than I would like it to be, but it's only a one-time thing. You only have to do this once, and then you bypass it. So let's watch the video real quick. To activate your subscription to Invite, Welcome, Connect on Demand using an access code, click the subscriber menu on our website and choose On Demand Training. This brings up a guest area page in which you need to enter the custom access code and then click the blue Go button. This brings you to the page describing Invite, Welcome, Connect on Demand. If you have received the custom link, this is the page to which it leads. On this page, you'll click the blue View Details button. On the Details page, you'll click the orange Begin Training button. If you have never logged into our site before, you will need to create your own personal account, including your email address and a password of your choosing. Note that this password is not the same as the access code you used on the previous page. This is whatever password you care to use. Note that there is a login button at the bottom of this page that you can use if you already have an account on our site. When you have finished filling out the form, click the Submit button. Some web browsers will give you the option to save your username and password so you don't have to remember them next time. On the Choose Your Pricing Plan page, you have only one choice to make. Click the blue Select button. To finalize adding the on-demand subscription to your account, you'll need to fill out one more form with your personal details, and then select Save and Continue. Confirm one more time by clicking Place Order. Now click the blue Get Started button, and you will launch the Invite Welcome Connect on-demand materials. Once you have added the on-demand access to your personal account, you can return to it anytime from our main menu using the subscribers menu bar. And as I say, more steps than I would like, but not complicated steps, and you only have to do it one time. I'm going to change my share, and we're going to actually look at the materials online and play around with them a little bit. Stop me anytime you want to see something else that I'm clicking on or whatever. So I'm going to stop sharing here just to change to sharing the web browser. So we're going to there we go. Okay. So after you've done what we just did, this is the kind of home for the on-demand materials. Note that when you come back to the site, you're probably already going to be logged in when you return to the site. So the easiest thing to do to get to this page is just click next to your name, choose My Programs, and then choose this. It just bypasses everything, gets you straight in. I talked about the Ask a Question chatbot on our site. That's right here. It floats on every page. It is programmed with the entire Invite Welcome Connect book, the transcript for every video, the Book of Common Prayer, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you're trying to find something, you have a question, it's really good at answering questions. At the same time, if you ask a question, it will ping our staff members, and if we don't like the answer that it gives, we step in and change that answer on it. So you're not left out in the world with a robot. So just a kind of general navigation on this site. Over here on the left-hand side, you see that there are 4 sections right now. There's before you start the training, it's a good place to come when you're first getting started and kind of get oriented to the online environment. And we're going to be actually expanding this sometime soon. And then there are separate sections for Invite, for Welcome, and for Connect. And we'll just look in here, for instance. So you see each section has kind of the kind of thing that it is. The videos, their quizzes, that sort of thing. But when you go into a video section, what you get here is obviously the video, which, I don't know, maybe we'll look at a quick little piece of video, but we won't watch comes in and...
Well, welcome. My name is Chris Harris. I'm one of the trainers here at Invite Welcome Connect. Invite Welcome Connect is a ministry of transformation.
We won't. So it's a combination of video and on-screen text and that sort of thing. But underneath the video, any resources that are talked about or apply to this video are listed here. The Invite checklist, for instance. All the resources that are talked about or that are helpful here are all as clickable links. A transcript of the video, including a downloadable PDF of that transcript. So a lot of people like to read along or read separately. Some folks just don't like watching videos. They can, so you can download and read the content. Like most videos, you can also you can speed it up. You don't have to watch it at one, or you can slow it down. Anything from 1/4 speed to double speed. So that's just kind of a helpful way that you can customize it to yourself. So there's a video for each of these segments. It's pretty typical. Invite here has, I think, has 5 videos. They vary about 5 to like 5 to 7. And it's a couple of hours of content for each area. Segment it this way to make it easier to go through. There are little quizzes between segments. These are optional, but it's a way to kind of self check for yourself. If did I understand what happened? Did I onboard what was talked about there? So it's a handy little thing to kind of self check. And I should mention, if I knew, let's look at in the transcript as well. And I don't know if there's one here. Oh yeah. So for instance, there's some questions that you can ask in group. Is there general consensus around your strengths and opportunities for growth in this area? What conclusions might you draw? Finally, did the conversation that you're having with your group going through raise any issues or concerns that didn't cover in the assessment? So this is a chance for you, if you're going through as a group, to really have conversation around the concepts of invite and welcome and connect. And most of the video segments have these kind of joint exercises, which if you're doing it on your own, you can kind of address those, but you can see that's kind of more effective in a group. So that is our recommendation. It still works on your own, but it's more effective if you're with your ministry team and you talk about these things kind of together. One other thing I wanted to point out to you here is the online idea collaboration tool. This is something, if you're in a group with people, we ask you to actually share these kind of ideas together. And the process is, you distribute a bunch of Post-it notes and you're talking about the topic of invite, for instance, and everybody just starts jotting down real fast, without a lot of contemplation, ideas for what you can do in your congregation to bolster your ministry of invite. And those Post-its all go up on a wall somewhere, and you don't self edit or anything. If the idea comes down, you write it down, you put it up. Later comes the contemplation, where everybody looks at the ideas together and starts to try to find the things that resonate, the things that, oh, here are two things we might be able to grab onto and do in our congregation. And you start with those two things. You keep all the other ideas and you come back to them later, or you create new ideas. But it's a way to find out what people are excited about in doing, instead of us telling you, here's what you should do for inviting. We give you the outlines, we give you some examples, and then you decide for yourselves what's going to work in your congregation, or what do we want to try in our congregation, and then find out if it works. If you're going through on your own, or if you want to see what other congregations have come up with, each segment, invite and welcome and connect, has these online idea generation walls, where these are people all over the world who have been in a part of Invite, Welcome, Connect even before we were doing on demand. So you can say, I'm just going to scroll real quick. There are lots and lots of ideas around invite and around connect and welcome as well. So you can look at them, you can add your own to them, you can heart them to vote them up so that they float toward the top. But it's a nice way of seeing, and a lot of these are actually things that people have tried and talk about here. So it's a great idea sharing place, and especially if you find something that really works for you, to put it on the wall so that somebody in Topeka can see it, and somebody in Italy can see it, and and see what works for you. And it's a way we can support one another as a global community of Episcopalians. But and it's also a place you can steal good stuff. We also ask you at the end of each broad segment to give us a little feedback on what we did and whether it worked well or poorly. We are adding to Invite, Welcome, Connect all the time. We're planning modules this year. We've just done a series of modules, webinars specifically for small congregations. And we're going to be adapting some of that material and creating some new material to do a module on small congregations and using Invite, Welcome, Connect there. But we're talking also about doing modules for multicultural ministry, for LGBTQ plus inclusion. We do have an LGBTQ plus inclusion page on our website. For youth engagement. These are things that are all kind of part of the big Invite, Welcome, Connect, but we're really looking to drill down into some of these custom topics. And if there are areas that are of value to you that you'd like to see, we always want to hear that, because we're always trying to keep building more content and more instruction. The recent greeter ministry guide that we created is a part of that process. The online assessment tool that we right now don't have completely integrated on the site. It's part of our news section, the electronic assessments, but we'll be moving that into here as well. So this is a living, breathing, growing set of resources. So if there's stuff that you want to see added, please let us know. If you complete every segment in here, it will email you a certificate of completion. It's a very pretty certificate with our logo on it and stuff. You can print it out and put it on your wall. So we have about 10 minutes left, and I blew through all this stuff really fast. Like I said, I'm going to follow up with an email that will include everything, this recording, everything I've talked about, the links and stuff like that. But I don't want you to get away without having a chance to ask questions. And what else I can answer for you right now? Is there anything? Was this too fast? Was this too much? I will go back and talk. I'm going to share my my slides again while you think about questions, because I do want to talk about. Here we go. My computer's being slow. I'm going to talk about a webinar we have coming up next week. I've talked a little bit about the assessment tools that we have recently adapted specifically for smaller congregations, but it works in all congregations, and we're working on a tool for all congregations. But it's a Google form that you can copy. We set it up so you can copy it and customize it for your own congregation, that asks questions of people about how they perceive you're accomplishing the ministries of Invite and Welcome and Connect right now. So, and you can see this is just this one I grabbed because you can also export the charts that come out of this. So this one happens to be on community engagement. And the question is, the church makes intentional efforts to know its immediate neighborhood, the residences, commercial establishments, offices, etc. The congregation has introduced itself to their surrounding area and the people in it. If an isolated rural location, the church knows its nearest neighbors. And so we ask, and so the responses, the possible responses are, we do this well, we need to work on this, we do not do this yet, or I don't know this. So in this case, a third of the congregation says they don't know. And so there's an opportunity there for education, at least. So this is really a way, a tool that lets you kind of see where you are right now and where you're doing well and having successes, and maybe you want to grow on those successes, and other areas where maybe you're not doing so well and there are opportunities to do better. And this helps you get that kind of broader perspective, because those of us in leadership in church sometimes, I think, fall victim to tunnel vision. We make assumptions all the time about what's happening within our church. Part of Invite, Welcome, Connect is to try to strip away those assumptions and to look at the church every day with new eyes, the eyes of someone who has never walked in your door before. And that's tough to do for somebody who's been going to the same church for 30 years. And so we have exercises in there for just that purpose, to walk the grounds like someone who has never been to this church before, to walk inside like someone who's never been here before, who's never attended a liturgical church before, to look at this place with new eyes, the eyes of a stranger, and then figure out what you would want from the congregation coming in as that newcomer who doesn't know anything at all. And so those are the tools that we're talking about. And that's so the webinar next week we will look at how to use this assessment tool, everything from, conceptually what to do with it, but also practically how to copy it, how to send it out to your congregation, and then how to create the results and look at the results. So if it's interesting to you, like I say, it's 2 p.m. Eastern next February 4. This is on our events page on our website if you want to click through easy, but there's a, and I can probably put that URL in the chat, but tinyurl.com/IWC-assess. So that'll be next Wednesday. So I asked you if you had questions, and then I talked over all of you. Were there any questions? We have just a few minutes. Oh, it's a shy Episcopal group.
Steve, someone, Lori,
There's chat.
Lori asks, there's chat questions. Will there be a notice about this workshop on the diocesan updates? The QR code doesn't scan. Yes. And Neil, thank you, Ken and Neil. Yeah. Awesome.
Great. I'm sorry. And I'll look through these questions a little bit. Sorry, presenting, sometimes you don't see the questions coming through. We answered in one account per parish or per person. And you can share accounts if it's easier, but if you have your own account, you get your own certificate, that sort of thing. But we do think you should go through together. Just have to take it home and digest it. Yeah, it is a lot. And I understand that this in a 1 hour, it's boiling 1 hour or, workshops that we do over the course of a weekend into 1 hour. So I understand that it's a lot. Peter, on the resources on small congregations, the recorded webinars, and there are 3 of them right now, are on. If you go to our news page on our website, there's a link for recorded webinars. You can see the 3 recorded webinars, and we're developing those into more of a module, a permanent module on the site. But the webinars are available right now. Thank you, Martha, for looking forward to applying into your parish, and for you, Barbara. Laura, your question was answered, I think. Yeah, that's everything. Anybody else want to talk up? Be brave. Oh, does this material address sealing with the super shy and/or the folks who come often, whom you have invited, and they say thanks and duck out the door? Yeah, it does. I mean, part of that, and I'll just say a little bit about that, Barbara. Part of that is trying to respect people where they are, and not bowl them over with stuff. And so for some folks, if they've left you information, that's where particularly the priest is in a good position to reach out through a text message or through an email or a written note or a phone call. You kind of have to gauge it to the person. And one of the modules that actually we'll be releasing this year is a 12-week follow-up program, how to follow up with visitors over the course of 12 weeks. And when I say that Invite, Welcome, Connect adapts to your own context, that's the same way you have to deal with the visitors who come in. The visitor who comes in is not the same as the last visitor who came in. You have to respect them and try to reach out to them the way that they're comfortable. If they're super shy, maybe they prefer a text message. And for some people, getting a text message or a phone call, good God, call me on the phone? No, thank you. But a text message, great. I love that. A note in the mail, wonderful. An email. So yeah, adapting. If that person doesn't, a very shy person probably doesn't want you to call them on the phone, but reaching out to them and tell them you care that they came here. You're really happy to see them. You hope you see them again. But in the meantime, if there are any questions that they have, they can text us, they can call us, they can email us, whatever works for them. And so it's just reaching out to that person the way that makes them comfortable and giving them options. Because not everybody's the same. And Lori has to head to her next meeting. That's any other questions? We're eating into your evening on a Wednesday. Yeah, Martha says we have a newcomer card people fill out when they are ready. Announcer mentions that each week people give the contact info they are comfortable with, and that's great. Contact cards are super important, and they ought to be really easy for the person to get. And it's great to mention them during the announcements or from the front, not to pressure somebody into doing them, but to let them know that you really and you can tell them in the announcements, if you fill out that card, we will reach out to you in the way that you say you prefer. And because people fill out this card, sometimes they're worried, a priest is going to show up at my door, or God forbid somebody calls me. No, but if you say, how would you like us to contact you? And if they say don't, you have to respect that. But just reach them where they're comfortable. And a newcomer cards are great. I've seen there's also digital newcomer cards. Like some churches will put a QR code on the back of the pew, and so somebody can just. I know for some people it's icky. For other people it's cool, and they want to do it. So again, it's what works in your community and what works for the individual person you're talking to. And for some people, the QR code would be an ick factor. For other people, if I don't have to write out by hand, that's great. And we love to hear these ideas too. And this is, that idea generation tool, things that work for you, or that you've been doing. If you put them in the ideas, in the idea generation tool, then other people can learn from you. And we love that. All right. We have just another minute. As I said, within the next couple of days, I will tighten this recording up a little bit, and send it out, along with a list of some things, including the link that bypasses having to use the code, but the codes will be in there. If you receive that, you have any questions, please just write back to me. We're really, really glad that you're here with Invite, Welcome, Connect, and we hope and we pray that it makes a substantial difference in your congregation. And we hope that you make a substantial difference to our ministry. So we will learn and grow with you. And we want to hear from you for what's working for you, what more you need, what's not working. Because you're part of this ministry now, and we're glad to have you. So if there are no other questions, no, thank you, Barbara. Thank you. I made you feel welcome and included. Great. And, the diocese invited you. So that's good. So thank you again. Reach out to me anytime. And I wonder, would someone like to close us out with a quick prayer? And it doesn't have to be a clergy person. It's okay. If it's a clergy person.
I could lead us in a prayer.
Thank you so much.
Lord Jesus, stay with us. Your evening is at hand and the day is past. Be our companion in the way. Kindle our hearts and awaken hope, that we may know you as you are revealed in Scripture and in the breaking of bread, all for the sake of your love. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, everyone. Again, reach out to me anytime that you have questions or need help. But I thank you for your time tonight, and welcome to the party.
Thank you.
Good night.
You're really much, Steve. And when you all get the information for your parish, if you would also perhaps reach out to a parish that you might have seen wasn't here that's nearby you, so that we can get them connected to the resource. The more people in the diocese that make themselves available to this new available resource, the bishop is confident it'll serve the congregations well. And so we'd appreciate your assistance in getting the word out to those who might not have been able to be here. It will be in the Diocese of Albany again, and they can contact me for further information as well.
Thank you, Canon Neil. And that's a great idea. Support one another. All right. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.